All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to unpack some really fascinating ideas from Osho's work, I Am the Gate. And really, it all boils down to one simple but incredibly deep question. Who are you? I mean, really. Osho isn't interested in your job title or your name. Nope, he's pointing a finger right at that sense of I that's at the core of everything you experience. The whole point of his work here is to take that I apart, piece by piece, and see what's left on the other side, if anything at all. And check out how Osho sets this up. He says, for the first time in history, people are so afraid of death because for the first time, they are so unaware of immortality. Wow. So what's he getting at? He's basically saying that all our modern-day anxieties, especially our fear of death, it's not just a psychological issue, it's a spiritual one. It's like we've got this deep-seated amnesia, a total disconnection from who we really are, from our timeless nature. Okay, so section 1, the shadow at the gate. Before we can even begin to figure out who we are, we've got to get clear on what we are not. And that means facing our biggest obstacle, this shadow that Osho says is always trailing right behind us. And what is that shadow? Well, it's the ego. Osho has this brilliant metaphor for it. A shadow that follows you to the temple of knowing, but can't actually go inside. You know, your sense of me, your self-image, all of it. He's saying that's not the real you. It's just a shadow, an illusion. And like any shadow, it just disappears when you shine a bright enough light on it. It can't survive real awareness. Now, here's the catch. Osho says the ego is the last thing a person must discard. And that is so important because this isn't easy. I mean, think about it. Getting rid of stuff? Sure, but how in the world do you get rid of the you that feels like you? It's a total paradox. Every time you try to know yourself, you're actually strengthening the very self that's doing the searching. It's the ultimate final boss in this whole game. So, section 2, beyond the I, consciousness. If you're not that limited, kind of fearful ego, then what are you? This is where everything shifts. We stop talking about what you aren't and start exploring what you truly are. Osho paints a really beautiful picture here. He says, when we're stuck in our normal way of seeing things, we think of ourselves as this tiny, separate, individual thing, like a single drop of water. But you're not the drop. You are the entire ocean. He's saying that if you look deep enough into that one little drop, you find the whole vast sea. We aren't the ego. We are consciousness itself, this huge, universal, undivided source of everything. So what does that even mean, to be the ocean of consciousness? Well, Osho breaks it down. First, it's absolute freedom. It's not stuck in time or space. But here's the really mind-bending part. It's a state where there's no doer. Get this. From this perspective, you aren't doing anything. Things are just happening through you. That, he says, is what everything is made of, the true nature of all existence. All right, section 3, oneness over relationship. So, if you're the whole ocean, what does that mean for how you interact with all the other waves? This new identity completely changes how we connect with everything and everyone. And Osho makes this really sharp distinction between what we normally call a relationship and a state of oneness. Let's break that down. A relationship, the way Osho sees it, is always a deal between two separate egos. It needs a me and a you. And because there are two separate things, it's always conditional, right? There's always that fear of losing the other person. But oneness, that's what happens when the egos just dissolve. There's no me and you anymore. There's just one. So it's totally unconditional. It's pure freedom. Why? Because there's nothing to lose. And this is such a key point. He says, when there is no self, you become universal. So letting go of yourself isn't about becoming nothing or feeling empty. It's the total opposite. When that little boundary you call you finally melts away, you don't just vanish, you expand. You become everything. You go from being a drop to being the entire ocean. Okay, section 4, the game of sannyas. This all sounds great, but how do you actually do it? How do you live this way? This is where Osho introduces his path, which he calls neo-sannyas, and it's a completely fresh take on the old idea of being a spiritual seeker. And here's the absolute heart of it. It's about living life not as some serious job you have to get through, but as a game to be played. This isn't about being all solemn and denying yourself pleasure. No way. It's about being playful. It's about realizing this whole cosmic drama is a game, a leela, as they say in the East. You just drop that heavy weight of purpose and achievement that your ego is always so obsessed with.
And the difference between the old way and Osho's new way is like night and day. The old path, old sannyas, was all about fighting. Fighting your body, fighting your desires, fighting the world. It was a path of saying no. But Osho's neo-sannyas is radically positive. It's a path of saying yes. You don't fight anything. You just focus on growing your inner world so much that all that other stuff, all the attachments, they just don't seem interesting anymore and fall away by themselves.
So, let's look at section 5, a radically positive path. We're going to dig a little deeper here because this is really about maturation, not suppression. The idea is simple but so profound. Don't fight what's superficial, just grow what's essential. Think of it like a tree. Instead of running around with scissors trying to snip off all the dead leaves and branches you don't like, just water the roots. Focus all your energy there. Osho says when you find that richness inside yourself, all those outer pleasures you used to chase just fall away, naturally, effortlessly, like dry leaves just letting go in the fall. No fight, no struggle. It's about outgrowing them. And this just hammers the point home. How many things do you have to fight against on this path? Zero. Absolutely none. This is not a war. It's gardening. You don't fight the darkness in a room, right? You just flip on a light switch. The whole focus is on positive growth, period. And this brings us to maybe the single most important takeaway of the whole thing. The goal is not freedom of the self, but freedom from the self. This is a total game changer. We're so used to thinking that freedom means empowering me, making me stronger, getting me what I want. But Osho just turns that completely on its head. He's saying the real liberation isn't about buffing up your ego, it's about breaking out of the prison of the ego altogether. So, I want to leave you with this one question to chew on, something that brings all of this right back home. If you're not the doer, then who's living your life? If that ego is just a shadow, if there's no little CEO in your head pulling the levers, and if life is just happening, then who or what is the one experiencing the life that you call yours?